What's up, Guava Bees? Welcome to another episode of the Dear Guava Bean podcast. In this episode, I'm talking with Deya, who is a digital business manager. She started off working as a virtual assistant and then bounced around doing lots of small jobs until she found her niche as a business manager. And now she works with a lot of great companies online, helping them run their business. We talked about what is required to become a digital business manager, what skills do you have to have, what kind of training do you need, how do you find clients, all of that good stuff. And we even talk about Deya's course, where she is teaching other people how to do what she does. So if you're interested in being a digital business manager, or if you didn't even know that this was a thing and you can make a living being an online business manager, I think you'll really enjoy this episode. As always, for the full uncut version, make sure you join us inside the Freelancer Sandbox. If you're a member, you'll get all the episodes like this and more completely free, plus all of the online courses, support, resources, everything else that's included. If you're not a member yet, you can join now and you'll get your first month completely free. Just click the button or go to guavabean.com and you'll see the link to join us. And finally, each and every episode is brought to you by guavabean.com. We are on a mission to help everyone work online and live free. That is our motto. That is what we do. Our why is freedom. And we are very passionate about helping all sorts of people from around the world, all walks of life, discover the magic of freelancing and really discover what it means to have freedom in your life. For us, that's what freelancing is all about. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you soon. Hi, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Happy to be here.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning. What do you do as a freelancer?
So I've been working as a digital business manager online. What that just means is I take care of businesses that have some sort of digital component, such as a remote team or online projects. They have a completely online business. A lot of my clients have a completely online business, or they need help with optimizing or systemizing their online businesses so that they run smoother or that they're able to scale faster.
Interesting. How long have you been doing this?
I have been freelancing, over 3 years now. I think like 3.5 years maybe. So it's been a little bit of a time. It's been a little while.
And this has been like freelancing full time for 3 years?
Mm-hmm. It's been in the first... actually, once I leapt into freelancing, I was doing it full time. I wasn't fully booked in the beginning, but since like the latter part of year one, I've been fully booked. So I've been able, luckily, to freelance full time.
Yeah. So when did you realize that you wanted to be a freelancer?
I feel like this is a very cliche story, but straight out of university, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I went into consulting, as many people say, like that's the easiest way to get a lot of insight into lots of different businesses and everything. So I went to do a 6-month internship at a really big consulting company. And it was during my time there that I realized like this is not at all what I envisioned for my life. Like I didn't understand how other people could do it like every single day, let alone for the rest of their life. And that's when I started to seriously consider alternatives. So I started doing a lot of research. I was trying to figure out like what is an alternative? What's an alternative that would make sense? And that's when I first stumbled upon the idea of working online. And I thought to myself, like, there's no way this is real. There's no way I can make a sustainable income from this. Like, this seems too good to be true. All that stuff that, we kind of like let the doubt seep in. After my internship ended, they wanted me to come on full time. But by then I had been so, entrenched into this online world where, every single day after work, I was going online and doing research and trying to land clients and, really offering anything just to see if it was doable. And at that point, I was like, I think I'm going to give freelancing a try. And I made the leap.
Awesome. That must have been really scary, just taking a leap straight into freelancing. Did you have any other friends who were doing this? Anyone else that you could learn from?
No, I feel like when I did this, it was so under talked about. Like even at university, at school, none of my friends, my family members, not a single person knew of this as an option that we could do, which I think was when I first found it, why I was so like, is this real? Because it seemed so unheard of. Like I've never heard of a single person who worked successfully online full time, before then. So there was definitely a lot of doubt. There was a lot of like verification I needed. Like I'm somebody who is very cautious and I like to have like backup plans for my backup plans. So it was a big step. It was really scary, but it's also like when you get to a point where you're like, there is no other option. I have to make this work because I cannot imagine working at this job or doing this type of work or whatever it is for the rest of my life, let alone for the rest of my life. Like I couldn't even do it for another 6 months or a year. I was like, no matter what this other option is, I've done my research, I've done my homework, I put in the work, and I'm ready to give it my full go. And if it doesn't work out, then that's fine. At least I tried. I tried to build my dream life, and I'm more comfortable knowing that I tried than I didn't try at all out of fear.
Yeah, I think so many people are in that mindset of like, is this even feasible? Is this too good to be true? It sounds like a scam. Like, oh, you can work from anywhere on your laptop. It sounds like such a scam that most people just write it off.
Yeah, that's so true. I do think some of that comes from the misconceptions of like the way people paint that lifestyle. Like it's not as glamorous as it looks. Like a lot of it is just me sitting in front of my laptop working. Like I don't think I've ever worked by the pool, to be honest, because like the glare on your laptop would make it so hard to work by the pool. Like that's so unrealistic, to be honest. And also like your laptop's not plugged in. Like how are you going to have battery for more than 2 hours, So it is a lot of work, but it is an incredible lifestyle once you make it work for yourself. And it does require a level of seriousness about making it work, which I think a lot of people, when they think of like, it's too good to be true, they're thinking like, oh, I'm just going to like log on for 1 hour and like the money will roll in. Like that's not really how it works. You really have to take it seriously. It's a job. You have to do it. You have to honor your commitments. You have to really build client relationships and everything. So from that sense, I don't think it's too good to be true. Like it's awesome, but it makes total sense for the amount of work that I'm sure people like all of us have put in.
Yeah, it's a legitimate job. But just like any other job,
Exactly.
it's foolish to think that it's some kind of luxury job where you just sit on a beach all day and have no worries. It's not what it's like. It's actually, like you said, it's serious. It's a lot of work, but it's an amazing lifestyle. Did you take any courses or go through any training to learn how to do what you do?
When I first started, I didn't even realize online courses or trainings were a thing. I feel like that's also such a new concept. Like 3 years ago, at least, or to me, it was a new concept because we're taught like so much about traditional formal education and certifications and all that stuff and how that is going to determine whether you're successful or not. So I didn't take any of those in the beginning. I kind of just tried my best to learn a lot and a lot and a lot and to figure out absolutely everything. And I do think that that is a very important, much more important than any sort of like professional training or formal education is. You need to be resourceful and take initiative, be a proactive person and figure it out and honor your commitments. And I think those like soft skills, I don't like the term soft skills, but those are really what will determine whether you become a successful freelancer for sure.
Yes, resourcefulness is such a key quality for all freelancers to have. If you have that like figure it out mentality, you can do anything. Like there were no online courses when I got started either. There was no such thing. I didn't even look for it because I knew that, the chances of there being an online course in what I wanted to learn would be so limited. I just knew that experience would be the best way for me to learn. Like the sooner I get started, the more experience I get, that's how I'm going to figure it out. How long did it take for you to feel like you finally did it or like you finally arrived as a freelancer and you didn't have to worry anymore if this was going to be a feasible thing?
I think it maybe took around 6 months after I made the leap, because when I first made the leap, I wasn't fully booked. I had a few clients, like money was coming in. That was enough like validation for me in the beginning to be like, okay, this is somebody is going to pay me money, a stranger, to do work for them online. Okay, that's enough for now. And then basically in 3 to 6 months, I was able to grow, increase my rates. And I think like 6 months after I started, between 6 to 12 months, that's when I did get like fully booked. And that was when I was like, okay, I think I've made it. Like I'm making a full-time like income. I'm able to do this from home or from wherever, like while I'm traveling. This is enough. Like even if I don't grow from here, even if nothing else amazing happens from here, this is enough. And I'm so like proud of myself for getting to this point, So yeah, that was definitely a good moment.
Yes, you should be. It's like realizing you're finally an adult and you're like, yes, I
Right?
can take care of myself.
Yeah, I have to pay taxes. Yay.
You mentioned raising your rates. So how did you price yourself at the beginning when you were just getting started?
So how I did pricing in the beginning was I priced really low in the efforts of building trust with clients and getting testimonials and learning and yeah, being trained. And that's something I don't think a lot of people think about when they get started. Like there is a level of trust you need to build with clients. Sorry, my dogs are excited. They always do this.
That's
I don't
okay.
know how loud it is on your end.
That's all right. I like
Okay.
animals. I don't mind. There's like birds in the background here. You probably can't hear them, but sometimes sometimes I hear them.
Okay. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, increasing my rate.
You started
Yeah.
pricing. Yeah, you started off really low at the beginning to just get the
Yeah.
experience.
Exactly. So I started really low. I started at around $10 an hour, which was about minimum wage in Germany. And that's how much I was making at my student job. So that was like really the only context I had. I was like, if I could just make this amount, which I was making at my student job while working online, I would be perfectly happy because it's like doable. It's not a lot of money, but it is doable to live if you live very, very frugally. So that's where I started, and I loved it because I was being paid to learn about this world that I knew absolutely nothing about. And that's something really to take into consideration because I was like in the back end of so many of these incredible business owners, entrepreneurs who I got to like witness how they think, how they develop strategy, how they like launch products, everything. And I just soaked it all up. Like I just learned. I was like a sponge. I took it all in. And that's, I think, actually a huge component of why I was able to scale my income so quickly was because I was then able to translate all that experience and knowledge to be valuable for future clients. So I started at around $10 an hour. I quickly scaled up. I think I doubled it within the first year. And then from there, I just kept increasing my rates in like $4 to $5 increments until I hit a point where I was like, this is a very good, like, chunk of money for me to live the life that I want to comfortably and still, get to do what I love to do.
And how did you go about increasing your rates? Because so many people are uncomfortable to ask for more money. Did you just increase with new clients, or did you let your current clients know that you were increasing your rates and this is why?
I did it with both. I increased my rates with every new client, and I also did salary reevaluation talks with my old clients. And like my old clients, I think they knew that they were getting a bargain at the rate that I started. So they were really happy to increase. And there is a level of like, if you are truly providing this, like the value and it's worth it, a client should be happy to increase. And I've never had a client say no to a salary reevaluation because like they knew that they were getting somebody good, and not only somebody good, but somebody who was familiar with their processes. And that's something that not a lot of freelancers think about. It's like this process of hiring, onboarding, training new people is exhausting and it's super expensive and it's very time intensive, especially for a small business owner who already has limited time. They want to hire somebody to take things off their plate immediately. And now suddenly they have to train somebody on like how to do all these small things. It's much easier for a client to keep you if you're doing an awesome job. So when you're thinking and you're being scared about like asking for an increase, like first of all, know that the worst case scenario is nobody's going to fire you for asking for a salary evaluation. Like worst case, they say no, right? And then if they say no, you can say, okay, like, do you have any feedback for what I could be doing to be better? Like, why do you think that like my work doesn't warrant an increase? Maybe you're doing the exact same level of work that you did when you started. And then you can also ask like, what time would be feasible to ask for a salary evaluation. So like that's the worst case scenario. They say no, right? The best case is you get an increase, right? And if you're working with clients who see your value and are kind people, which you should only work with clients who are like that, then they will make sure that you get paid what you're deserved. Even if it's not in the beginning, then eventually when you ask for more money. But it is definitely your responsibility to ask for more money.
Yes, I agree. I like that advice about, you don't have much to lose. They're just going to say no, or they're going to give you feedback. So if you feel like you really deserve the increase, if you know you deserve it, then there's no reason not to ask.
Yeah. And if a client says no and you truly believe like, okay, I actually do really deserve this raise, and they don't give you any useful feedback as to why they feel that you don't deserve it, it's also okay to part ways with clients who don't pay you what you deserve to make. And that will also make room for newer clients. That will make room for clients who will see your value. So you really have to respect yourself first when it comes to that if you truly believe that you are worth it.
Yes, so many freelancers stay in jobs where they're not paid well just because they're afraid and of losing something good and not being able to find something better. So how do you find new clients, and especially those good clients who are willing to pay you what your value is?
Yeah, so how I find clients in the beginning, I started on an online freelancing marketplace. It's called Upwork. I forgot the name for a second. Upwork, which I wouldn't recommend to freelancers now, just because there's like so many more communities, there's so many more online options for you to connect with the industry, with other people doing exactly what it is you want to be doing. But in the beginning, I was so out of touch with this world that it gave me a good place to access potential clients. And from there, I've been able to grow outside of the platform. But what I would recommend to newbies is really immerse yourself into the world, like join communities, like for example, the guava bean community, where you can learn from other people who are like a few steps ahead of you. That's always the best people to learn from. Join Facebook groups, join groups that your target person, like target client would be in, and really start to like see what they're asking for, read their language, provide value wherever you can. And that's a really good starting point because you will learn so much more. It's not just about like getting clients. Sometimes it's just about learning how you can be of service to somebody, instead of always being, in a promotional mindset.
Yeah, exactly. And now that you are quite a bit more experienced, do you still go out looking for clients, or do you find that most of your clients come to you from referrals?
They do almost like since year two, I've only gotten clients through referrals and word of mouth, which has been really amazing. I feel very lucky for that. Um, I think something a lot of freelancers don't think about is also that it's really a big trust thing for a client to hire somebody. Like they are trusting you to do it. They're trusting you. They're paying you money, and there aren't that many good, like excellent freelancers out there. There are a lot of freelancers, but it's really hard to find amazing people who not only are awesome at what they do, but are great communicators. They take initiative. They are, on top of it. They are creative. They help you develop strategy. Like all of those things are really hard boxes to check for a lot of people just because, they're newer or they haven't really thought about how to offer the full package or anything like that. So, keep that in mind that like it's really hard for clients to find good people. And once they find good people, they want to like hold on to them with everything. So at that point, I think referrals and word of mouth marketing, it's been a really good thing for me, in that sense. But yeah, other than that, I would recommend like just doing your homework about the people that you want to work with.
Yes, yes, yes. I like that you mentioned that trust thing with clients, because I've also experienced that. Like in the beginning, it was so hard for me to find good clients. I honestly thought like, where are all the good clients? There are no good clients out there. And then once I got into it and I got into working with some companies, and I became a manager and it became my turn to start looking to hire freelancers, I saw it from a completely different perspective. And I was like, oh, it's actually really hard to find good freelancers. And there are so many companies who feel that way. Like they are taking a huge risk by bringing someone into their business, hoping that this person has the skills that they say that they have. It's really, really hard for business owners to find people that they can trust, like you say, that have those communication skills, that value their work and that will show up on time and take this seriously.
Yeah,
It's I
exactly.
think in many ways, it's just as hard for business owners to find freelancers as it is for freelancers to find good clients.
So true.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I created Guava Bean, because I was like, I mean, if these two people could just come together, it would make life so much easier. There's so many people looking for good freelancers, and there's so many good freelancers out there looking. And it's just knowing like how to communicate, how to position yourself properly, how to build trust, like you say, so that clients feel comfortable taking a risk on you, because it's true. A lot of freelancers don't see it this way, but clients have to take a huge risk when they hire a
For
freelancer.
sure. Like not just with the money, but also with their time investment, like whether or not you're going to stay with them. They're giving you access to all their behind the scenes stuff. Like their business is their baby. And you have to really honor and respect that it's a slow process sometimes getting a client to let go of things that they feel that they're the only person who's like, they feel like I'm the only person that knows how to do this. Like I'm just going to keep doing it. It's really hard. So you really have to put in that time to be like, I'm here for you. Like I will make sure that I treat your business as if it were my own. And I'm going to like really ensure that the quality is where you need it to be, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's so important. How did you find your niche, or do you think you're still finding it? And if you have found it, how did you know that this was the thing for you?
Yeah. So it's funny because I feel like I created my position out of a bunch of things that I really liked. And yeah, like being a digital business manager, it just combines everything that I love. So on one hand, I'm a very systematic person. I'm very logical. I love like clear decision making. I love transparency and clarity. So I love taking things off a to-do list. So I love that aspect. But the other side, I still wanted elements of like creativity, of like strategy, of like developing products and all this fun stuff that goes into making sure things are successful, not just from an execution standpoint, but also like a brain standpoint, I guess, like thought and love poured into something. So I was able to combine those two and just like create this position basically and be like, I'm somebody who not only helps you get stuff done, but I'm also somebody who's there for the strategy, there for the accountability, there for making sure your team is happy and all those different things. So I definitely feel like I found my niche for sure.
Did you know that this niche or this job even existed when you started?
Not at all. If I had known, I would have been like, that's what I want to do. But no, I didn't know.
So do you think you would have found it if you hadn't like gone through all the other jobs? Because like for me, I had to go through so many jobs until I found the one.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Like, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, people talk about niching all the time as if like you should niche in month one of freelancing because you suddenly magically should know what you want to do for the next 20 years. I don't think that's true at all. I think you can be very, very flexible, and I think you should go with whatever is interesting. So I actually tried a bunch of stuff before I found this. Like, I did content a lot. I was very in a lot of digital content stuff, so like editing, formatting, and then I moved into digital content management, so managing the production process and writers and all that stuff, and I loved that too. And then I moved into project management, and I was like, wow, this is really fun. I love this, but I wish there were a little bit more components of like managing the overall business, like seeing the overall strategy of a company and also working with a remote team and all that stuff. And then I moved into becoming a DBM where I got to combine all of this. And I think there is so much value in trying out so many things, especially because then I got to be within the process that I now manage. And I know all the different details and intricacies of the steps required to, for example, launch a product or to develop a content calendar. And how do you push out content on like 3 platforms every week? Like, I know every single step because I was within that process. So I think it is very, very valuable to try out many, many things and to go where your heart like calls out to you. And yeah, like don't rush finding your niche. It's okay to try out stuff and change your mind. Like, it's totally okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the best things about freelancing, that you can try a lot of different jobs without having to commit to like a year contract in this one industry.
Yeah. And I actually think it's really unrealistic to expect people to just do one thing for the rest of their lives. Like, we're very multifaceted individuals, and it's okay to have lots of interests. Like, who's like, I just want to do editing for the rest of my life, or I just want to write for the rest of my life. Like, as much as you love something, it's okay to explore other things and combine different things you love so that you get versatility and diversity in the tasks that you're doing, which I think like reinvigorate passion when you get to do lots of different things and you get to come back to something that you love.
Yeah, that's one of the main things that I really like about freelancing, that when people find something that they love, and usually they've gone through so many other different jobs to get there, but when they find it, it's like this sense of like, yes, this is perfect for me because I've done so many other things. I've tried the 9 to 5, I've tried all of these other jobs, and I know that this is the best thing for me. It's that confidence that you have. Do you have a website or a place where you kind of promote your services?
So I know everybody says you need a website, but I actually didn't need a website because I feel like I kind of use LinkedIn as my proxy website. I send everybody there because that is the most updated version of my work history, my achievements, the services that I offer. So I think as long as you have some sort of online presence, like a place where you can show people credibility, show people like, hey, this is what I do, give them transparency into your process, I think it's fine. It doesn't need to be a website, in my opinion. But in year 2, I felt I had so much peer pressure that I ended up making a website, and now it just kind of sits there because, I was very fortunate to be fully booked in year 2. So in that sense, I think it's great to have a place where you can keep your services and your packages clear, because a lot of times, like, what clients need is clarity on what exactly they're paying for and what you offer and how that fits into their business. But I think you can kind of like pick what platform you feel best about, whether that's a website or something else.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned LinkedIn because it's a place where people are already looking for work, already looking to hire or to connect with other people. So being where the clients are is really the best strategy, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Like, when I was building my website, like, organic traffic doesn't just show up on a website magically by itself through no mean or like efforts of your part. It's a really long, like, SEO is a really long-term strategy. So I figured LinkedIn would be faster because people are already searching for hiring there. And my website would not just like, my profile would not be just a thing that's completely standalone and nothing connects to it. It's really something where it's already a platform that has a professional, I guess, purpose behind it.
Yes, I agree. Same. I also put work into building up my LinkedIn profile, but I never really launched a website. And I thought it was funny that you mentioned the peer pressure, because a lot of the times that's what it is. It's not clients telling you that you need a website. It's other people making you feel like somehow you're missing out or you're not professional enough if you don't have a website.
So true. So true. I've never had a client say, Deya, you need a website. Like, they don't care. They honestly don't care.
Yeah, what are they going to do with your website unless they need to see your packages clearly? Like you say, a lot of clients come through referrals. They're working with you because they know your reputation or they know someone who knows you. So how do you handle working with clients in different time zones? Because you must work with clients all over the world.
Yeah, for sure. Like, time zone stuff, I mean, for one thing, there is a separation between like tasks that are time zone specific. Like, if you need to be a customer support rep from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. PST, that's one thing. But I think there are a lot of jobs where time zones really don't matter. It just matters if you get the work done within some sort of time frame, right? So I try to always spin it as positively as I can. So number one, I reassure a client like, hey, like, I totally get it. I've actually had clients from all over the world, these time zones, and it's never been an issue. I pride myself in getting the work done, like, way before deadlines and everything like that. So don't worry about that. And the other thing, a way of spinning things positively, I sometimes say, like, for example, I'm in Asia right now and a lot of my clients are in the US. Then I'll say, like, technically I'm getting work done while you sleep. Like, we can hash out a strategy before you go to bed. And by the time you wake up, it'll be done, and it'll be ready to go. So you are saving time, and we're kind of like tag teaming projects. So I think don't let it hold you back. Like, don't let the thought of like, oh, but what if the time zone's not compatible? Like, don't let it keep you from pitching, from applying. You will make it work. Like, be a good freelancer, honor your commitments, and it honestly is not as big of an issue in the long run at all for clients, in my experience at least.
Hey there, we hope you enjoyed listening to the Dear Guava Bean podcast. If you'd like to hear the second half of this episode, log in to the Freelancer Toolbox or go to guavabean.com to start your free trial now. As always, our goal is to empower you with the information, inspiration, and direction you need to achieve financial freedom through online work. Thanks for listening and supporting the podcast. See you in the next episode.